So he's beating her with a belt. And as parents generally do, he is talking her through the beating. He's talking her through the beating, meaning he's saying while he's doing it, why he's doing it. And a lot of people had a lot of feelings about this. A lot of people were upset about this. I heard people throwing around the word child abuse, a lot of things. But so let's get some of these quotes that he said. So he said, "You fucking around, huh?" And he is screaming this while she is crying. She says no repeatedly while he beats her to the floor and continues beating. And just when I thought that it was over with, he continues. He's seen on the video throwing her around on the floor and pushing her to the floor. And he says, "You want to be a hoe, huh?" And asking her this question, brandishing the belt from time to time. He's enjoying what he's doing. You know how back in the day when your parents had to discipline you, they may say something like, "This is going to hurt me as much as it's going to hurt you." I didn't get that from him. I got actually that seems almost like he enjoyed it. It was interesting. It was interesting because I've been a child, obviously, and I have been a parent, and so I understand both sides of this as a lot of adults will. So many people pointed out that this is not how he should have responded to a preteen, an adolescent being sexually active. And this behavior is abusive. Interesting. One person said, "Shouldn't no man be beating his daughter? Let's start there. You're horrible for sharing this. When they lock him up, I won't be feeling sorry." That's what one person said. Another person said, "I hope he loses custody and access to her. I'd report him to the authorities if I knew who he was. If a child is having sex at 12, no amount of physical violence is going to repair that. Y'all in these comments should skip parenthood." And it's saying that because a lot of people said that's what they need to do. If it was more of this, then things would not be as bad as they are now. Referring to just the streets in general, right? Referring to how things are and why things are the way that they are, meaning why is there a lack of respect from young people? Why is there this disconnect between generations? Why? And people link it to the lack of discipline that kids receive. And I think that there is something to that. There is. Now, a lot of people talk the talk, but can you walk the walk? You say you want things to get better. You say that you want society to be better. You want the millennial generation. You want them to be better. But you just want to talk them to this, or do you have to discipline them when they are wrong? I think the latter rather than the former. You have to discipline them. Now, what is discipline? When can you go too far? I think that if he had stripped this girl down, that would have been too far. But let's keep in mind she had her clothes on. Now, yes, her arms were exposed and she was trying to grab the belt, as they say, and that makes the beating, it's such a word that makes the beating take longer. I say that because when you think beating, whooping, it has a sound to it, and in the black community growing up, a lot of times we got whoopings, beatings. When you did something wrong, you talked back, you did something you weren't supposed to do, this is what happened. Traditionally, a lot of times, not all the time, but a lot of times, white kids did not get that same level, and they would talk to their parents in a certain way that was different from what the black children were allowed to get away with. And a lot of times we liken that to the discipline factor. The discipline factor. So what is discipline? What is child abuse? Where is the line? Where is the line? Nobody knows where the line is exactly. You know what I mean? The line is an invisible thing that we just decide where it is. And when other people are talking about somebody else's kid, it's real easy to say, oh, you shouldn't beat that child. Why did you do that? It's easy to say that when it's somebody else's kid, but when it's your kid, what are you going to do? If it's your kid that disrespects you, are you just going to say, oh, well, Timmy, let me get that phone. Let me lock you out of social media. I mean, are you going to put hands on the child? Now, a lot of times kids know now that they may have a case if they reach out to the proper authorities about what was done to them. So then they do it. They reach out to somebody else when they do something wrong, and then the parents are feeling like, oh my God, I can't even discipline my own child for fear of other people getting involved. You know what I mean? There used to be a time when I was a kid, before we went out, my parents would say, but we would already know, but parents say, we going out? Don't you be asking for nothing. Don't you embarrass me or something, or don't make me embarrass you when we go out. What does that mean? That mean may have to take you in the dressing room of the store you were in the bathroom of the restaurant you might be in. And, you might have to put some hands on you. These things happened. And now they can't happen because people will say, hey, don't you be abusing that child. So what is the proper way to discipline a child? I don't know. I think it depends on the situation. Ideally, you'd say something and your child listens. But we all know that's not the way it works. That's not how it works. That's not how it works in the big city. You want the kid to listen. You don't want to have to put your hands on the kid. But these kids that are walking around here now, most of them have not been disciplined correctly. And I think that you can go too far. Should a guy be beating on a 12-year-old girl? No. I say no. He should not. But in the instance that we're talking about, this video that went viral, some social networks were ripping it down for whatever reason. They could not, they didn't want to keep it up. Now, some streams still has it up. So if you have not had a chance to see this video, I'm sure that you can find it. As I said, it's Diamond K Show, and we're talking about this father who found out his daughter, 12 years old, 13 years old, was sexually active. And he inflicted a lot of pain on this child. But this is his own child, right? This is his own child. So what would a little girl do? Or a little boy at a certain age, right? 12 years old, I think, is probably a little old to be beating the child, right? So I think that if a child is younger, don't touch that stove, hit the hand, little kid, toddler, don't touch that stove. That's fine, right? Kid great run out in the street. Hey, don't run out in the street, hit the hand. That's fine, right? But a 12-year-old being whipped with a belt, I think is a bit much. Because let's think of the psychological thing. Because while they're getting beat, they're thinking of, how can I get even? The way they get even is not talking to the dad. Let me be smarter next time I'm sneaking around. I don't think that it creates the communication that you need to have when you're raising a child. I think that, yes, you will inflict pain on them. You will hurt them. And at 12 years old, child's 12 years old. At 12 years old, if the lines of communication is not open, there's no whooping that you can do to open it. And the more beatings that you give the child, the further the communication is. And eventually you're going to get to that point where the child grabs the belt, and that escalates things, or tries to hit the parent, a number of things. And that can go left. So I think that this father in particular did not instill enough communication in the makeup here. It was not established. I don't think that he's going to stop her from having sex. As I said, next time she's going to be more careful, not get caught. Because clearly she got caught. Anyway, the other problem I had is, why do we even know about this? Why would you be recording this discipline session? I think back to the one beating I got as a child. We're talking about a different time, right? But I got one, and maybe I was 9. Cause I wasn't 10. I was 8 or 9. And I remember it because it was a significant thing. My sister Shawan, God rest her soul, as we're doing this show, it is going into the first anniversary of her passing. But she had, and when we're talking about when we were kids, she had braids and the beads. She had some beads in her hair. And my mother, called and said, take the beads out of her hair, right? And this was a lengthy process. Comb a little bit, pull a bead down, comb a little bit, pull a bead down. It was like the straight braids, whatever. And so plaits. So I guess on one side of the hair I'd taken out. My mother said, by the time I come home, I want all the beads taken out, because she wanted to wash my sister's hair. And I didn't normally have to do this, and I wasn't really into it. And for some stupid reason, I did half of the hair, and the other side of the hair, I took some scissors, went to the top, and just chop, and it just fell down and cut hair off on the side. So the beating that I got for that was significant. But my point is that I was under 10 years old. It wasn't, when I say it was significant, I mean significant for a child. I mean, it wasn't the worst thing that ever happened, but it was discipline, and discipline was necessary. My point is this. My father was the one who beat me in that particular scenario, but I never really saw him beat my sisters, so I don't believe that it happened. Smacking, yes. But, of the hand, yes. Smacking of the leg, yes. But beating with a belt is not in vogue now. So if people think that is needed, you're not going to be able to do it and get away with it consistently. Things are going to happen. People are going to get involved. Now, back in the day, everybody did it. Now it is not acceptable. And it's definitely not acceptable for a man to beat a daughter like he beat her. And he beat her pretty bad, right? From the standpoint of she was recorded, it went viral. Like the level of embarrassment is elevated. And even though we don't know who she is, people who know them know who she is, right? So it went viral. So people that know them are aware of this video. Now, while we can't identify him right now, we can't identify her. It is something that probably could be labeled as a trigger for bullying, because people can make fun of her because of this video. The repercussions could be extensive. The conversations also showed how common this behavior is, and the thinking about the violence and how it can affect a child. It is very disturbing, some of the comments that I read. But some people say, and this is another comment here, some people say that beating or being strict makes you sneak more. But that is 100% on the kid's personality. I don't even think about trying something after a beating like that. You definitely wouldn't get caught, but it was a pretty significant beating. But somebody else said that so weird, child abuse is so normalized, and that it's actually people that are defending him and calling it discipline because they were abused themselves. So that was interesting. But after the video was taken down by the initial poster, Sage, followed up tweets remained, where he stood by his original caption. A disheartening number of people support his commentary, giving a glimpse into how many parents still think it's okay to beat up your child about sex instead of talking to them about it in a healthy way. It's about communication. Trying to scare them, like I said, will make them run away. I think that the psychology is a better, I think it's just a better teacher. It's a better teacher. I believe that. Now, things that were done to a generation previous doesn't mean that's the way we got to do it now. You didn't have social media then. You didn't have a lot of things then that you have now, and we can't hold on to everything that we did in the past and do it now. So the beating that I was referencing that I got, we're talking about in the 80s, right? It's 2019 now. So we have to go about things differently now. Punishment is necessary. Discipline is necessary, and that differs depending on your child. But the way that this guy carried on, I don't think it made him look like a man. It showed that you can physically dominate your daughter. Ooh, big deal, okay? A lot of people can do that. But I would commend him more if he was able to, if he was able to communicate with her. I think that father could have sat her down, talked to her. He could have instilled fear in her with his words, right? Just as much as he instilled fear with the beating. But I think that the beating, while the marks will go away, the pain will go away, the psychological impact will not go away easily. And I'm sure it's not the first beating that he has administered. And so in the comments section, someone else is saying that they agree it's embarrassing. Too many parents make sex taboo. So I understand that. I don't think that they should make sex taboo either. I think that they should establish that sex is for adults, not for children. But I don't think they should make it taboo. I think that's an old school thing that they did as well. And I don't think they should do it that way. But you're right. A lot of parents do make sex taboo. Just tuning in, it's the Don McKay Show, RadioOnFire.com, of course, from the Radio on Fire studios here in Baltimore, bringing you information and entertainment for urban America, whether it's sports, relationship topics, what have you, the latest news. Radio on Fire has the urban experience covered from all angles. RadioOnFire.com. New shows dropping daily. And, so definitely, I'm hoping that people understand that you want discipline, but it does not have to mean that you have to physically put your hands on your child. And especially at 12 years old and you're picking up something and banging them upside the head with it, that's not necessary. That is not necessary. And if you don't know how to, if you don't think that you know another way, and you need to reach out to somebody to try to understand a better way. But I just think that beating the child in the long run is going to hurt you and the child's relationship. That's my thoughts on it. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, at The Diamond K Show, at Radio on Fire. Of course, hit the share button, the like button, subscribe button. All that helps the show. Also, I have a brand new song out called Pretty Girl. You can stream that anywhere. And Apple Music, Tidal, Amazon, Spotify, YouTube. It's out there. Check that out. And let me know how you like it or not like it. It's all good. All right, so I will be back tomorrow, of course, radioonfire.com. If you miss any episodes, radioonfire.com/Diamond K. You can catch up on all the episodes right there.